Hey everyone, welcome to another Pygame tutorial video. In this video we're going to be doing some quick housekeeping, and then we're going to actually have our shell register a hit against the barrier. So if we run this really quick, we see first of all when we fire the shell the barrier just disappears, but also if we are to actually hit the barrier with the shell, nothing actually happens. So what's the point of the barrier? So we're going to fix that, get this to actually appear on the screen, as well as fix the magnitude of our explosion. So if we come right here into our explosion function, you'll see this question here, while magnitude is less than 50. Really, what we should do is add another parameter here, and we'll just say size of the explosion, and we'll set a default to 50. So then we'll just say while magnitude is less than size, and run it. So that makes a whole lot of sense. The next thing we do is we're going to scroll all the way down into our game loop now. And within our game loop, we want to find where we've called GameDisplay.fillWhite and then the gun thing for the tank function. What's happening here is it's clearing the display, drawing the tank, and then asking for any key presses. If we've fired, it's a key press, and then it's going to shoot this whole firing sequence. Problem is it hasn't drawn the barrier at this point. So what we're going to do is just highlight all this, cut, and then we'll just scroll way down here. And then basically right above firepower plus equals power change, now let's go ahead and paste that. So now we'll save and run that. And we'll hit play. And now you'll see that the barrier is still there. Obviously we're not hitting the barrier yet, but that's what we're going to get to now. So when it comes to the barrier, what we're going to do is we're going to scroll all the way up to fire shell. Yeah. So we want to go to our fire shell function, and in our fire shell function we're asking the question right here. This is the question that we ask if the shell has hit the ground, we cause an explosion. So we've seen that work. Cool. Now what we need to do is ask the question is if the shell has hit the barrier. So first of all, let's bring this all up into a nice tight function or question, and then we'll come down here and we're going to just start asking the question here is if the shell is crossed. Now there's a lot of questions, or there's a lot of data here, because we're basically going to be asking is the shell within the bottom Y and the top Y, and is the shell also within the left X and the right X. So that's a lot of ifs. So when you have like and it's basically not only a lot of ifs, it's a lot of ifs, and they all have to be true. Like it has to all be like if it's between the first X and the second X and the first Y and the second Y. So obviously we have a lot of questions. So one method that you can do just so your line doesn't, get huge is like the following. So we could say check underscore X underscore 1, and this will be a true or false value basically. So we would say check X1 equals, and then that would be starting shell 0, so the X location of the shell, and we're saying is it great or is it less than or equal to the barrier's X. Now the barrier's X is, as soon as I find it, okay, so we've got X location and random height. So X location, random height. Let's just remember that. So the barrier's X location plus the barrier's width, and you'll forgive me, I forget what we called for, barrier underscore width. So plus barrier underscore width. So that's check X1, so that'll be true or false. Then we're going to say check underscore X underscore 2, and that's going to equal starting shell 0. So is that starting shell 0 greater than or equal to, greater than or equal to X location. Then we need to ask about the Y's, so we would ask check Y1 equals starting shell 1 less than or equal to what was it, random height. Then we would ask if check Y2 equals starting shell 1 if that is greater than or equal to random height, and then we want to know or actually, you know what, this is a mistake. It would be if it is less than or equal to the display height, and then this one is less than or greater than or equal to display height minus the random height. So again, it's really easy to get yourself like mixed up here when it comes to like the height values, because in your mind the bottom or lesser value is like the bottom of the window, when really that's the maximum Y value of your window. So then to move up, or say like, well, is the shell going over the barrier? We're actually asking, is the shell going under the barrier in like the program? So so anyway, that would be the questions that we want to ask, and then all we have to do now, whoops, let's get rid of that division. Now all we have to do is we basically ask if check underscore x underscore 1, and because you basically just like, this is saying if true, right? So if check x check underscore x underscore 1 and basically check x 2 and check y 1 and check y 2, like that. So if all of those are true, colon, what do we do? Well, we basically run the exact same thing as we ran right here, this block of code. So we'll just copy that and paste, and now let's run it. Play. X location is not, oh right, okay. So what we haven't done yet is we've not passed through the barrier locations into our function. So we need that, because otherwise we have no idea what those values are. So we will basically take X location and barrier width here. So we need to have basically all of those. So we need, let's see, X location, so comma X location, comma barrier width, comma, and random height. Paste. And now what we'll do is we'll just copy these, just copy that, and then let's type in fire shell, find this, and then add a comma, and then those values. I think those were the only three, but we'll find out shortly. Play. Okay. So now let's add some power to this bad boy. And okay. So we've got the hit happening, but our explosion is happening on the ground. So let's go ahead and look at that really quick. Okay. Right, so our hit Y we're just saying is display height. Really we would want hit Y. I'm not really sure why hit X. Let's see. I guess what we'll do for this, we'll just say it's starting shell 1. Like that. So let's try that. Play. There we go. Good enough. And let's see, times display height development. Maybe I'm just doping off here, but let me just try that. Whoa, invalid syntax. You don't need those double right. Okay, so that makes a little more sense. So we've got that, and then yeah. So now you just need to call that both of those hits, because the hit X is basically asking like what was the last, like what's the last location of our shell, and then same thing with Y. So now we actually have a hit occurring on our barrier. So our barrier is actually acting like a barrier now. So that's good. So anyways, that's it for this video. As always, thanks for watching, and stay tuned to the next video.